If you feel like your metabolism has slowed down and your body just isn't responding the way that it used to, this video is very much for you. Because I know how frustrating it is as a mum when you feel like you're actually trying but nothing is working. And you look online and you see hundreds of suggestions for how to kickstart your metabolism. More cardio, green tea, supplements, fasting, keto, don't eat after 6 p.m. And instead of making things easier, you just end up feeling so much more confused. And probably feeling a little bit like you're just going to be stuck this way because your metabolism slowing down is just what happens as you get older. Good news though, a lot of the metabolism advice online is designed to make you feel like there's something wrong with you. So someone can sell you a quick fix. Because if they can convince you that your metabolism is damaged or broken, suddenly they can sell you a detox tea, a metabolism boosting supplement, powder, green shakes, and they all promise to fix it. But I am not here to sell you any of those supplements because they're all a load of crap. I'm here to give you 3 science-backed ways that are going to boost your metabolism, give you more energy, and actually help you start to fix that stubborn fat that just does not seem to move no matter what you do. And if we haven't met before, I'm Alex. I'm a weight loss coach who is a mum and works with mums. And I love to help women lose weight without pressing pause on their life. I've worked with hundreds of women who believed that their metabolism was broken, who felt stuck and frustrated and as though nothing was going to work for them anymore. But usually, once we improve a few simple things, these ladies start feeling like they've more energy, they are less hungry, and the scales finally start to move. So let's get into it. A lot of people get very confused when it comes to what their metabolism actually is. So to start with, let's dispel that myth that your metabolism starts to slow when you hit your 30s. Because research actually shows that your metabolism doesn't actually start to slow till your early 60s. And a large factor for that reduction in metabolism is actually down to the fact that you become a lot less active and start to lose a lot more muscle mass when you enter your early 60s and onwards. And your metabolism is not something you can kickstart like a motorbike engine. Your metabolism is always working because your body is constantly breaking down food to give you energy. The only time your metabolism starts working is when you're 6 feet under, and at that stage you've probably got bigger problems to contend with than the fact you've got a slow metabolism. So what is your metabolism then? I'm going to take you over to the whiteboard to explain. Your metabolism is essentially the number of calories that you require on a daily basis. And it's made up of 4 key things. Very first of all, we've got your BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate. And it uses up about 60% of the calories you consume on a daily basis. Your BMR is basically the calories that your body burns to do normal everyday functions that you don't even think about, like keep your heart beating, breathing, and even thinking. Second, we have the TEF, or the thermal effect of food, and it accounts for around 15% of your daily calorie burn. And this quite simply is a number of calories your body burns trying to break down your food. But the good news is we can do something to increase your thermal effect of food, and we're going to talk about that later in the video. Number 3, we have your NEAT, and you may have heard of this before. Your NEAT accounts for around about another 15 to 20% of your calorie burn, so that is quite a significant amount. Your NEAT calories, this little area, encompasses all the calories burnt from you moving around day to day. It's things like fidgeting, walking to the kitchen in your office, or just walking from your car to the shops or your car into work. We're going to come back to this one because this is one of the most important areas that you can improve in order to increase your metabolism. And finally, we have your EAT. And just like your ex who liked to exaggerate, we all like to exaggerate just how many calories we burn in this area. Your EAT is any calories burnt through doing structured activity. While we often think that exercise is one of the most important things that we can do in order to increase our calorie expenditure, in reality, it actually only accounts for about 5 to 10% of your daily calorie burn. And now we're both on the same page of what exactly your metabolism is. Let's get into the 3 science-backed ways that we're actually going to increase the number of calories that you burn every single day, or in other words, increase your metabolism. The very first way that you are going to increase your metabolism is to change what you eat. Before you panic, it is not some crazy overhaul of food. As a mum, I understand that these changes need to be simple, easy, and family friendly, which is why this one is very, very straightforward for you to action. All you're going to do is increase your protein intake and your fiber intake so we can increase that area that we pointed out earlier, your thermic effect of food. How is this going to increase your metabolism? Well, protein plays a huge part in your metabolism. It helps maintain your muscle mass, which is something we're going to talk about later, as that is also very important when it comes to keeping a high metabolism. But protein also takes a lot more energy to break down because it is much more complex, which, as I said earlier, is going to increase that TEF or thermic effect of food. To put it into context, protein contains 4 calories per 1 gram. And in order to break down that 1 gram of protein, you require around 2 calories. So that means you're actually only consuming a net of 2 calories instead of 4. Then when it comes to fiber and your metabolism, fiber slows down digestion and the release of sugars into the blood system, which you might think is the opposite of what we're trying to achieve with your metabolism. But actually what this is going to mean is that we're going to stay feeling fuller for longer with less energy spikes and slumps. And that is a huge benefit when it comes to weight loss. When both your protein and your fiber are high, you have a metabolism that's working harder to digest your food, as well as a consistent energy supply and less cravings and hunger. So how are you actually going to action that? As a female, you want to aim to get a minimum of 100 grams of protein a day, which I know sounds simple, but can actually be hard to action if you're not used to prioritizing protein. Check out my Instagram page where I post simple, easy and tasty family-friendly recipes, along with a podcast episode specifically about how to increase your protein. To pump that fibre up, think about whole meals as well as adding fruit and veg to every single meal. Things like peas, carrots, broccoli and cauliflower are all excellent at giving you that extra hit of fibre during the day. Now, let's talk about muscle because this is a huge one when it comes to your metabolism. This is a long-term project because building muscle takes time. Muscle isn't just about tone or shape, it is metabolically active tissue. So the more muscle you have, the more energy your body naturally burns throughout the day, which is one of the reasons why building muscle is so important. And as I said earlier, why metabolism tends to slow when we hit our 60s. But now you know this, you can buck that trend. So what are you going to do about it? Super simple, you are going to get to work building that muscle, girl. And before the excuses start, like I haven't set foot in the gym for a long time, I haven't got the confidence to go in the gym, or I haven't got the time to go in the gym, I have a solution for you. Because there are 2 huge misconceptions when it comes to building muscle mass. The first is that you have to go to the gym, and the second is that you need to be in the gym for a significant amount of time, like an hour or more. But I can promise you that you do not need either of those 2 things to start seeing results when it comes to building muscle. So many of my clients do 20-minute workouts 3 times a week and see excellent results from this. You get the best bang for your buck in the first 20 minutes of any workout because your energy is high and your muscles are fresh. And yes, you will still get returns after those 20 minutes, but it is very much a case of diminishing returns, whereby how hard you're able to work your muscles significantly reduces as time goes on and those muscles get more and more fatigued. If you'd like to give my 20-minute workouts a go, I've popped a link below for you to get 3 to try yourself at home. Finally, and probably the most important thing you can do to boost your metabolism pretty much immediately is to move more. We are looking at the part of your daily calorie expenditure that I talked about earlier, called your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, or for short, your NEAT. Basically, all that movement you do throughout the day without really thinking. And I know the advice to move more is really earth-shattering stuff, which is why so many people ignore it and then complain when they're not seeing the scales move. It is the easiest, most low-effort way for you to increase your metabolism and burn more calories. In fact, I think it is so important that when a client starts with me, I have them focus on increasing their daily steps before we even worry about trying to build in workouts, because it has a much bigger effect on your total daily energy expenditure than hitting the gym or doing your home workouts a couple of times a week. A lot of women who come to me and say that they can't lose weight the same way as they did before kids and that they think their metabolism is broken are probably moving a significant amount less than they used to, but they just don't realise it. Because now with the kids, a lot of that natural movement that you were doing before has been replaced with things like spending more time sitting, doing mum's taxi, or just being plain exhausted at the end of the day. And another key problem that I see here as well is that even if you're doing workouts a couple of times a week, your total daily energy expenditure can often still be quite low. And that matters more than a lot of mums realise. Because like I keep stressing, your calories burnt during your workout only account for around 5% of your daily energy expenditure, while being active throughout the day accounts for a significant amount more. So what I see happening is women thinking that they've done their 30-minute workout for the day and spend the rest of the day mostly sedentary, doing very, very little, which means their overall energy burn is still very low. So what are you going to do about it? You don't need to suddenly become obsessed with hitting 15,000 steps a day, but you do need to bring your baseline movement up in a realistic way. I like my clients to hit around 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day, but for some clients that start with me, that is a significant increase from what they are doing day to day when they first start. So instead, we shift the focus to increasing their daily steps by about 2,000 to 3,000 a day, and then building up till they can eventually consistently hit that 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day. So if your metabolism feels slower than it used to and you're worried that you've done some kind of irreparable damage, you don't need to panic. It is all totally fixable by addressing those simple things that I've mentioned before: daily movement, strength training, and increasing your protein and fibre. If this has resonated with you and you're thinking, I don't even know where to start with all of this, that's exactly where accountability changes everything. Inside my coaching, I don't just give you the plan, I help you follow through with it. Because for most people, knowing what to do isn't the problem. It's doing it consistently when life gets busy. You'll have support, structure, and someone keeping you on track so you're not starting again every single Monday. If you're ready for that level of support and to get results like all these women, all the details are linked below. And if you found this video useful, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button.